Joined by Senator Tom Cotton. Good morning, Senator.
Hey, Kevin. Good to be on with you.
Thank you for being here. Government shutdown is over. What are the next steps?
Well, I'm glad that the Democrats came to their senses. They shut down the government on Friday night over illegal immigration. I think they realized over the weekend that that is a massively unpopular decision to deprive American citizens of government services so they can get a no-strings-attached amnesty for illegal immigrants. That's especially true because we face no pending deadline for the question of the so-called DACA program, legal protections for children who are brought here illegally but through no fault of their own when they were kids. That deadline is now another 6 weeks out. So I'm glad that the government has reopened and that we can continue the negotiations that we'd been in for 4 months.
Okay.
I was just down at the White House yesterday with another group of senators. I know another group went after that, and hopefully we'll get a generous and humane but responsible immigration bill.
Senator Tom Cotton, News Radio 102.9 KARN. Some concessions, I understand, though, were given to end the shutdown. What were those?
No, Kevin, no concessions given. What Mitch McConnell said yesterday on the Senate floor is exactly what he offered on Sunday and Saturday and Friday, and for that matter 4 months ago, that we would have a debate and a vote on an immigration bill on the Senate floor when the time was right. Given the deadline the president set back in September is March 5th, I think every senator expected that this debate would ultimately occur in the month of February, and that's exactly where we are now. That's why it kind of made no sense to me or most people that the Democrats would shut down the government over something completely unrelated to government funding.
Well, it's happened before, and it's happened on either party's side, but we'll pass on that. Senator Tom Cotton, News Radio 102.9 KARN. What's going to be negotiated as far as it goes with an immigration? Is something going to be done, or are we going to be in the same spot next month? I mean, can it all be hashed out between now and then?
Yeah, I think we can, Kevin. We've made a lot of progress over the last 4 months. So on the one hand, I and most Republicans, including President Trump, want to be generous and humane to people who were brought here through no fault of their own illegally when they were kids. So we want to hold those people harmless and give them legal protection, as long as they're not criminals and as long as they can stand on their own 2 feet, not become, a public charge on welfare. But on the other hand, we have to be responsible about that act as well. It's going to encourage more illegal immigration with kids. That's why we need to secure our southern border with the wall and with the money and legal authorities that Border Patrol needs. And second, it's going to create a whole new pool of immigrants that could bring in their entire families in the future without regard to their education or job skills or job offers, and without regard to their ability to stand on their own 2 feet and contribute to our society and our economy and not become a public charge. So that's kind of the contours of a compromise. We discussed this publicly at the White House a couple of weeks ago. We give legal protections for that population of illegal immigrants who are here through no fault of their own, but at the same time, we have to secure our borders. We have to end extended family chain migration.
Kevin Miller along with Senator Tom Cotton, News Radio 102.9 KARN. Senator, if you would, Robin Caesar would like to ask you a question.
Sure.
Hey, Senator. So I'm curious, what happens when the funding is up in 3 weeks? I guess you guys vote again. Will it be the same kind of situation as we had this past week?
Well, I hope not. Senator McConnell made it very clear that we would not be having any immigration votes in February if the government is shut down again. I also have to assume that the Democrats, having gone through this nonsense now and capitulated entirely, recognize that threatening to shut down the government over illegal immigration is simply not a viable threat. They lost this ill-advised gambit badly. I don't imagine they'll be eager to restart it. So I don't think we have to worry about them shutting down the government about illegal immigration. What I do hope we can get, though, is an agreement on the overall spending levels that our military needs so badly and that the rest of our government needs, so we don't have to have another short-term spending deal without an overall spending agreement. That's what I really hope that we'll spend the next 3 weeks on, in addition to the immigration debate.
Senator Tom Cotton, News Radio 102.9 KARN. I want to touch on, too, a news story about a cease and desist to some voters or protesters who have been at your office. Can you explain what happened there? And is that a common occurrence, a cease and desist?
No, it's not very common, Kevin. It's a very regrettable circumstance. Look, I'm always happy to hear from Arkansans. Some people may remember some town halls I had last year that were pretty contentious with 1,000, 2,000 people. Mm-hmm. I meet with people all the time when they come to Washington who suffice to say, don't always agree with my point of view. But one thing I won't tolerate is repeated, vulgar, harassing behavior towards my young staff, especially my young female staff. I simply am not going to tolerate anyone calling them up and swearing at them in the most vile, profane language. I don't think many Arkansans would expect the young people who work for me to have to put up with that kind of abuse. So under no circumstance will I tolerate that kind of repeated, harassing, vulgar behavior towards my young staff.
Senator Tom Cotton, good to talk to you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Have a good day.